So the unit name is the design of IC engine parts. So that parts we need to design. Especially for this unit, actually university has to provide the data books for me while writing the examination. My suggestion is instead of looking into the data book, you be perfect with the entire design procedure of each part. Okay, Amma. So here, what parts we have to design as per our syllabus? See here. Actually, this is the one of the topic we need to design, but the syllabus is not given. What is a cylinder design of cylinder and cylinder liner? Okay, so these parts we need to design: cylinder head, cylinder and cylinder liner, piston pin, rings, gudgeon pin, connecting rod with the small and big end and bearings for the connecting rod, crankshaft pins. Okay, these are all things we need to valve gear mechanisms. This is the one. These are all things we need to design. So my suggestion is you be perfect with the entire design procedure instead of looking into the data book while writing the examination. Okay, Amma? Now, as per our syllabus, what the things we have to design? This is the first one, the piston, and the second one, the connecting rod, and third one is the crankshaft. This one is not given in our syllabus. This one is also not given in our syllabus. So as per syllabus, we are following now. The first one is a design of piston. So in this design of piston rings, piston pin or gudgeon pin, these are all covers. And design of connecting rod, small end bearing, small big end bearing, these are all going to cover. And in design of crankshaft, this crankshaft pin, these are all things we're going to cover in this topic. Okay, ma? Now see here, while designing the terminology, the parts name, nothing but the nomenclature of the engine should be perfect. So this one referred as a inlet manifold. Just these are all things as already you already studied in the previous classes. So just for the remembrance purpose, I am showing this one: inlet manifold, inlet valve. So inlet manifold consists of this injection of the fuel to the inlet valve. These are all referred as an inlet manifold. Okay, and this is the exhaust manifold, and this is the cam and follower mechanism here. Okay, and this cam and follower mechanisms used to operate these valves to open the to close the inlet and exhaust valves. Okay, and this is a cylinder where the combustion is going to take place inside. This is a piston. Because of the combustion, it is going to reciprocate. So here block diagram is drawn here. Actually, this is a piston. So to this piston, these grooves are provided for ring section, and for cooling purpose, the water jackets are provided here, and this entire portion from the here to this last portion is referred as a crankcase. Okay, so in this crankcase, the arrangement of the wall for arrangement for the cam and follower, arrangement for the crankshaft support. Okay, and at the bottom of this crankcase, oil pan is there for lubrication purpose. Okay, so what we are going to be designing here, we are designing about the first one, design of piston. We are designing about the second one, that is a connecting rod. Now we are designing about the crankshaft, that is the fourth one, sorry, third one. As per our syllabus, we are following these three. Okay, now one by one we are discussing now design of piston. Okay, now see here, for the design of piston also, this figure and as well as the terminology, whatever is there, entire things you should be remember. Okay, so the top portion from the here to here is referred as a top end. So for before nomenclature, what is the piston? Here see, piston is a disc which reciprocates inside the cylinder. So how it is going to reciprocating? So because of the burnt gases inside the cylinder, the burnt gases are going to create the thrust on the surface of the piston head. So because of that reason, the piston is always in a continuous reciprocating motion. So the main function of the piston is here to receive the thrust forces from the burnt gases inside the cylinder, engine cylinder, that is going to transmit it to the crankshaft through the connecting rod. Okay. Now the main parts coming to the piston. The piston is having the crown, ring section, skirt, and piston pin and piston barrel. Here I forgot it. This one, piston barrel, piston barrel. So these are the main major five parts of the piston. The first one is the crown. So crown is nothing but it is a head, maybe flat or convex or concave, depending upon the design of the combustion chamber. This is the one. This is referred as a piston head or crown. Okay. So it sometimes it may be flat, sometimes it may be concave surface, it may be convex, depending upon the combustion chamber it is going to decide it. Now, the head should be designed in such a manner it withstand the maximum pressure of the gases that is created on the top of the piston. Okay. Now the ring section, second one is the rings, piston rings. So ring section, see here, the ring section start from the here to here. These ring sections are used to seal the cylinder in order to prevent the leakage of the gas. See here, in the combustion, in the engine cylinder, in the third stroke, there is a power stroke. In the power stroke, there will be gases are going to burn. Because of that reason, the burned gases, nothing but this burned gas is having the maximum pressure. So there will be a chances to leakage between the leakage from the gap between the cylinder and the piston. So to prevent this leakage, the rings are going to help. So here the rings are having the two categories. First one is the compression rings. Second one is that is oil controlling ring, oil controlling rings. So these two categories of rings are we are going to use here. The first one is the compression rings. So the name is indicating here what is the purpose of the first three rings. Compression, to provide the better compression. So it means the whatever the pressure is there, that pressure is not going to escaping if we provide the three rings here. So why the three rings are one is enough, because this pressure load is going to distributed over these three rings here. Okay. And the oil controlling ring. The oil controlling ring is nothing but the piston is continuously reciprocating inside the engine. So what happens? There will be chances to wear the cylinder walls, otherwise wear the piston rings what we provided here. To overcome this drawback, the continuously we have to supply the oil. So that is happens with the oil controlling rings. So because of continuous supplying the oil also, there will be a huge amount of oil is going to supplied, and that oil is going to involved in the combustion chamber. So that is another disadvantage. So to make a proper, to supply the proper amount means optimum oil supply is going to achieve by the oil control ring. So see here the title itself indicating oil control rings. Okay. Now the fourth one is the piston pin. So the piston pin is here. This is the piston pin. This section. So this is a hollow portion in the piston. After making the inserting the connecting rod here from this side, the piston pin is inserted here. So the piston pin is, the purpose of the piston pin is, it is used to connect the piston and connecting rod. Okay. Now the piston skirt. So sorry, I forgot the piston skirt. Piston skirt. It acts as a bearing for the side thrust of the connecting rod, because the connecting rod is always in a oscillatory motion. So there will be a side thrust in the piston. So to avoid the side thrust, the skirt is going to give the support to the piston. It nothing but it is acting like a bearing. Okay, and the piston barrel is nothing but this is the total portion. See here, from the bottom of the head, from the bottom of the head to the last end of the piston, that is referred as a piston barrel. Okay, now one by one parameter we are designing here. First one is the piston head we are designing. This piston head is going to design on the basis of two criteria. First one is it should have high adequate strength to withstand the straining action due to the pressure of the explosion inside the gas cylinder. So see here, inside the cylinder, in the power stroke, inside the cylinder, in the power stroke, what happened? The gases are going to burn. Okay, ma. So because of this burning the gases, that these gases are going to create the maximum pressure. Okay, so this pressure is going to sustain by the piston. Okay, so in that manner, we need to design the piston. This is the first criteria, means sustaining the maximum pressure, withstanding with the pressure, means it should have the high strength. The second one is the because of the burning gases, there will be a heat generation. So that heat generation, see here, because of this heat generation, this heat is going to touches the cylinder walls, and as well as this heat is going to touches the piston. Now see what happened, because the cylinder is exposing to the atmosphere, so the heat is air is going to taken away the heat by the cylinder. Whatever the heat is generated to the cylinder, that is taken away by the air. But inside the cylinder, there is no. This is the total sealed one. There is no even the air is nothing is going to contact with the piston here. So how the heat is going to dissipate to the surrounding? If the heat is not dissipated to surrounding, what happen? Piston, whatever the material we use, that material is going to lose their property. Okay, so it should be dissipated. How it is going to dissipate it? So see here on the piston, we are providing the rings. These rings are going to touch the cylinder walls. So through in so whatever the heat is generated, that is going to transfer to the rings. That rings are going to transfer to the cylinder walls, and the cylinder walls take the air is taken away by the heat from the cylinder walls. In that manner, it is going to dissipating. So the dissipation of the heat of the combustion chamber, whatever inside the combustion chamber, to the cylinder walls as quickly as possible. If as quickly as possible not happen here, immediately this piston material, whatever we use, that going to lose its properties. Okay. So by considering these two criteria, we are designing the piston head. So according to the first criteria, strength criteria, the equation thickness of the piston head denoted by T suffix capital H square root of 3 into P into capital T square by 16 sigma T. So this is the empirical relation. At any cost, you have to remember Babu. And thickness is going to measure in terms of mm. Now what is P here? The P is the maximum gas pressure. Maximum gas pressure means this burnt gases pressure. Maximum gas pressure. It is measured in terms of Newton per mm square. Now what is capital D? Capital D is the bore diameter. Bore nothing but cylinder diameter. This is the one. Capital D. It is measured in mm. And what is sigma T here? Sigma T is a permissible bending or tensile stress for the material of the piston. So whatever the material we used for the manufacturing of the piston, That property is the sigma T here. Maybe it is treated as bending or maybe it is treated as a tension. Okay. So this sigma T value, we need to remember the values. So it is measured in a megapascal or Newton per mm square. Its values 35 to 40 megapascal for gray cast iron, 50 to 90 megapascal for nickel cast iron, and 60 to 100 megapascal. This is for the poured steel. So these values at any cost we have to remember, and this equation at any cost we have to remember. Okay. So this is the equation based on the strength criteria. Now, what is the second criteria? Whatever the heat is generated, that should be dissipated as quickly as possible. So based on the second criteria, thickness of the head or crown, capital H by 12.56 into K into TC minus TE. This is measured thickness in terms of mm. Okay. Now what is H here? The H is nothing but heat flowing. H is heat flowing through the piston head in kilojoule per second or watts. Okay. So in heat transfer, you studied about the H value as a Q in heat transfer. Heat transfer through the wall, heat transfer through the pins. We already studied, I think. So this is the one. Okay. And to calculate this H value, we have another empirical relation, that is C into HCV, higher calorific value, into M. M is the mass of fuel used. Mass of fuel used per kg, kg per power brake, and B into, BP, brake power. Okay. So this heat transfer, nothing but heat flowing through the piston, may be calculated with this equation, C into HCV into M into BP. So what is the units of this H value? Either this is the one or watts. Now what is the C here? C is the constant. C is the constant here because here whatever the heat is generating, the entire heat is not going to transfer to the piston. Somewhat heat is transferred to the cylinder walls initially. And whatever the heat is transferred to the piston, that entire heat is not going to transfer to the cylinder wall. Somewhat remains inside there. So to make a correction, make a total entire heat transfer. So that correction is a C here, that is given as a constant 0.05. Now HCV is a higher calorific value, kilojoule per kg. Kilojoule per kg. Now here, if the problem is related to the petrol engine, so HCV value is 45 into 10 to the power of 3 kilojoule per kg. If the problem, this is for the petrol engine. If the problem is given related to the diesel engine, the higher calorific value is 47 into 10 to the power of 3 kilojoule per kg. Okay, and M is the mass of fuel used in kg per brake power per second, and BP is nothing but brake power of the engine cylinder. In that, like in this manner, the H value is going to calculate it here. And now what is the K here? What is the K here? K is the thermal conductivity. So you already studied in the heat transfer previous class, previous semester subject, heat thermal conductivity. So its unit is watt per meter per degree centigrade. Okay. Watt per meter per degree centigrade. Now, these K values, we have several values here. K value 46.6 watt per meter per degree centigrade for gray cast iron, and 51.25 watt per meter per degree centigrade for steel, and 174.75 for aluminum alloy. So remember, whatever the constant values I'm writing here, at any cost you have to remember. If you are not unable to remember, so you can't solve the problem. Okay, fortunately, if you the center provides the data book, okay, but at the time you are not provided with the data books, it will be difficult to solve the problems. Okay, and which one is a TC? So TC is the temperature of the piston at the center. So see here, TC you can find it here. Temperature of the piston at the center. So that's the reason name is given as a TC. And a TE is nothing but temperature of the piston at the edges. See here, at the edges you can find the TE here and here. Okay, so the optimum value, temperature difference TC minus TE, we can take 220 degrees. This one, 220 degrees centigrade for the cast iron material. Otherwise, 75 degrees centigrade for aluminum alloy material. Okay, temperature difference we can take 220 degrees for cast iron material, 75 degrees for the aluminum alloy. Now see here, with the first criteria also we calculated thickness of the crown. Second, with the second criteria also thickness of the crown we calculated. So which one we have to select? The question, which one we have to select? So after calculating with the first equation and second equation, whichever the gives the larger value. Suppose this is the given the larger value, so this thickness value we have to take. Otherwise, if we get the larger value about this second equation, the second answer we have to select. So that comment you have to write. The larger value is from the second equation, so hence the thickness of the cylinder piston crown is some XYZ mm. Right? Now, if the thickness of the crown head is less than or equal to 6 mm, if the thickness of the piston crown is less than or equal to the 6 mm, so at this situation means if you got the answer equal 6 mm or less than 6 mm, so what we have to do, we have to write the comment. What we have to write to comment? So hence the thickness is less than 6 mm. So that's the reason there is no required of the ribs inside the. So here ribs I'm showing. So these are all the ribs here. This is the ribs. So these ribs are used to strengthen the crown head, piston crown. See, this is the piston crown. So to give the sufficient strength, withstand from the maximum pressure, these ribs are used. Okay, so these ribs are attached at the bottom of the crown and taking the support from the piston boss, taking the supports here and giving the support here. And the material whatever we are using, that is a weightless for this one, because if we increase the, if we taking the heavy weight of this ribs, again the weight, total weight of the element is going to increases. Okay, so if you got the answer less than or equal to 6 mm, so you have to write the comment here, no required for the ribs. Okay, if the answer, your answer is getting the like this, greater than 6 mm, so at this time what we have to do, we have to take the ribs, means writing the comment. Hence, because the thickness of the piston crown 6 mm greater than 6 mm, so that is reason ribs are required. Okay, so how many ribs are required here? So we can write 2 or 3, but each rib thickness is important here. Rib thickness is important here. So how much each rib thickness we have to maintain, that is also given here, empirical relation, that is th by th by 3 to th by 2. Separately I'm making th by 3 to th by 2. So this is the range is given. Okay, so with this range, within this range you can select, or you can select direct this one, or you can select the extreme value. Okay, otherwise you can select the within this range. So this is used to calculate the thickness of the rib. Why we are taking the ribs here? Because the thickness of the piston crown is exceeding the this much value. Okay, now for the engines having the, suppose L by D ratio, nothing but for the engines L by D ratio is 1.5. L by D ratio is equal to 1.5. So there will be a requirement of the piston cup to provide the sufficient compression ratio here. So piston cup is required. The diameter is equal to the piston cup diameter is equal to 0.7 into D. When we have to take this one, when the engine's L by D ratio, L is the stroke length and D is the bore diameter. If it's equal to the 1.5, then piston cup is required. How much the diameter? The diameter is a 0.7 into D. The D is nothing but the bore diameter. So this is entire thing is referred as a design of piston crown or piston head. Right, Babu? Any doubt here regarding this topic? So shall I move to the next one? Next element is the piston rings. Now see here, the purpose of the piston rings already I said, to provide the side leakage, preventing the gases from the side leakage. These piston rings are going to used here. Now rings are provided with the some gap here. The purpose of the providing the gap here is, see here, the piston is continuously um, reciprocating. So because of that reason, there will be friction between the cylinder walls and piston ring, because cylinder wall and piston ring is going to contact, not total piston. So that's the reason there will be a generation of chances of the heat generation. So what happens, because of the heat generated, the metal is going to expand. If we not provide the gap here, what happens? The diameter of the ring is going to increases. What happens if the diameter of the ring is increases? The engine cylinder is going to seize. So to compensate this one, so we are providing the gap here. So whenever the temperature increases, the metal is going to expand. That expansion is going to cover this gap. That is the first purpose. The second purpose is for easy insertion of the rings in the piston ring grooves. This connection is you're going to utilize here. Okay. Now coming to the um, total how many types of rings are going to use here? Already I explained. First one is the compression rings. Second one is the um, oil control rings. So compression rings is providing the better compression ratio. Oil controlling is nothing but controlling the oil. Means not providing excess, not providing lease. Okay. So to maintain the optimum manner, the rings, oil control ring, and to provide the better compression ratio. Better compression ratio, how when it is going to achieve when there is no leakage of the burnt gases from the engine cylinder. Okay. From mostly the if each engine has the 3 to 4 rings, 3 to 4 rings. So if you use the 3 rings, 2 rings are the compression and 1 ring is the oil ring. If you use the 4 rings, 3 rings are the compression, 1 ring is the oil ring. Okay. Now the rings we are designing, rings is having the thickness. First one is a T1, second one is a T2. Now what is the T1? First one, radial thickness of the piston ring. Radial thickness of the piston ring, that is the T1 here. So for this also we have empirical relation T into square root of 3PW by sigma T. This is the radial thickness. This is the radial thickness. So what is the D here? D is the bore diameter in mm. What is the PW here? Gas pressure inside the engine cylinder. Okay. So it is measured here, Newton per mm square. Okay. And now its value is limited from PW value is limited from 0.025 Newton per mm square to 0.042 Newton per mm square. Okay, this value you have to remember. This is the permissible limit for this problem, this design. Okay, and now sigma T. Sigma T is here property of the material which whatever we use for the ring section. So ring material. So allowable bending or tensile stress for the ring material. Its value 85 megapascal to 110 megapascal for cast iron material. If we select the cast iron for the rings, so this is the range 85 to 110 megapascal. So this will going to present in the data book. If the examination center, if the data book is provided, that is okay. If the data book, the center persons are not providing, it is difficult to solve the problem without remembrance of this sigma T values. Okay, Babu? And the second one is first one is the radial thickness. Radial thickness. Now second one is the axial thickness. Axial thickness, that is T2. So this axial thickness, we have two relations. First one is the 0.7 T1 to T1. Otherwise, this is the first relation. Otherwise, another relation is capital D by 10 into number of rings. It means T2 value we can select. Suppose if we got the T1 value, so directly T1 value we can take. Otherwise, you can take this value. Otherwise, you can take middle of these two values. Middle of these two values we can take. That is the range. If you don't have a remembrance for this one, this is another relation D by 10 into NR. NR is the number of rings used in the engine cylinder piston, and D is the bore diameter. This is a 10. Okay. Now, width of the top land. See here, we are discussing about the ring sections. So ring we designed, but we have to design these are all things also. What are the things? See, this is the one B2. Okay, and this one also. Here it is not appearing. Here one parameter is there. Just wait. Here one parameter is there. See here, this one also we need to design, and this one also we need to design, and this one also we need to design. Okay, now one by one I'm calculating. These are all things in the piston ring section only. Now, first one is the B1. What is B1? So this is the B1. B1 is the top land. See, this is the top land from the tops of the piston to the first ring portion, referred as a top land. And B2 is this is the section gap between the rings. There is a piston groove land is there. This is the one B2. And T1, what is this one? TL. This is a T1. T1. We calculated this one. Okay. B1, B2. I'm calculating. B1 is the top land thickness, width of the top land. Its relation is TH to 1.2 TH. TH is the thickness of the piston crown. Okay, TH to 1.2 TH, and the width of the other ring lands, that is the distance between the ring grooves. Just now I've shown. So that is B2. B2, the relation for the B2 is 0.75 T2 minus, not minus, range 0.75 T2 to T2. What is T2? T2 is the axial thickness. T2 is the axial thickness. Okay. The depth of the ring groove should be more than the depth of the rings, so that the ring does not take any piston side thrust. The gap between the free ends of the rings given as means how much gap we have to maintain. So see here, how much gap we have to maintain between the ring to ring. So the gap is 3.5 T1 to 4 T1. The gap between the rings are 3.5 T1 to 4 T. When the rings in a cylinder, it should be after inserting the gaps is 0.002 D to 0.004 D. The gap when the rings, this is the gap outside of the cylinder. This is the gaps when the piston is inserted inside the cylinder. So this gap we have to maintain between the each ring. Okay. Next one is a piston barrel. It is the cylindrical portion of the piston. The maximum thickness for this is denoted by T3. Piston barrel means, so here is the total cylindrical portion, means from the bottom of the cylinder crown to the last end. Okay, so this is referred as a piston barrel. Its thickness is denoted by T3. Now relation is 0.03 B plus B plus 4.5 mm. Okay. And what is the B here? B is the radial depth of the piston groove. Radial depth of piston groove. So its value 0.4 mm larger than the radial thickness of the piston ring, that is T1. Means the B value should be greater than this T1. Okay, so the reason what we are doing, B value 0.4 plus T1. B value we are taking 0.4 plus T1 because T1 is the radial thickness of the piston ring. Okay, so the B value, the radial depth of the piston groove should be 0.4 mm than the T1 value. So that's the reason what we are doing, we are adding 0.4 plus T1. Okay, ma. And the relation, with this relation we can find alternate relation. We have to calculate the T3 value, that is T3 is equal to 0.03 D plus T1 plus 4.9 mm. The piston wall thickness T4, piston wall thickness T4 towards the open end is decreased as it should be taken as 0.25 into T1. 0.25 into T1. Okay. So T3 is the what is the T3 here? T3 is the maximum thickness of the piston barrel, and the piston wall thickness. Piston wall thickness is the 0.25 into T1. It is measured in mm. It is measured in mm. It is also measured in mm. So T3 value, we have two relations, Babu. Either with this value also we can calculate, or with this value also we can calculate the T3 value. Okay. So next one is a piston skirt. So the portion of the piston below the ring section, whatever is there, that is treated as here as a piston skirt. So here I'm showing in the diagram. Below this one, this is the head portion, this is the ring portion, and the whatever is there remaining, this one is totally referred as the skirt, piston skirt. Okay. Piston skirt. It acts as a bearing for the side thrust of the connecting rod. The length of the piston skirt should be such that the bearing pressure on the piston barrel due to the side thrust does not exceed the 0.25 Newton per mm square. Do not exceed the 0.25 Newton per mm square of the projected area for the low speed engine. For the low speed engine. Now for the high speed engine, 0.5 Newton per mm square. High speed engines. Okay. And now see here. Piston skirt, we know that maximum load is creating on the piston. How much load equal due to the gas pressure? Pi by gas pressure into area, that is pi by 4 into d square. And the maximum side thrust on the cylinder, and as well as the piston, the first equation. Side thrust on the cylinder wall and as well as on the skirt is denoted by R, P by 10. So P by 10, how much? P by 10 is a 0.1 into pressure into pi by 4 into d square. Okay, this is the second equation. Now side thresh also we can get R value, bearing pressure into projected area. What is the projected area here? Length into diameter. Projected area is length into diameter. Okay, this is the third equation. Now from the equation second and third, the length of the piston skirt is going to determine. From the equation second and third, length of the piston skirt is going to calculate it. Okay. Now in actual practice, the length of the piston skirt is taken as 0.65 to 0.8 times the cylinder bore. 0.65 d to 0.8 into d. Now total length of the piston, how much? Total length of the piston is capital L. Oh, so I'm writing here. Total length of the piston is capital L. First one is beginning is top land, that is TH, plus ring section, length of the ring section, plus length of the skirt. If you add these three, total length of the piston is going to determine. First one is the top land, nothing but crown thickness. Okay, and the length of the ring section. So length of the ring section, how it is going to calculate it? After calculating this land value B2, after calculating the D2 value, so what is the total length of the ring section? This is the 1 plus this is the 1, this is the 1, and this is the 1. If you add the 5 minutes. Okay, this is the total length of. After calculating these are all things, if you add these are all things, get the we'll get the length of the ring section. Now length of the skirt, how much? Length of the skirt we are going to calculate with these two relations, equation number 2 and equation number 3. Okay, equation 2 equal equation 3. So we are getting the length of the skirt. If we add these are all things, total length of the piston is going to calculate. Now one more relation is there. The length of the piston usually varies between the D to 1.5 D. Okay. So after calculating this value, we have to verify. With this value. Okay, ma? And next one is the piston pin. See here how the connecting rod and piston is going to assemble. So in the piston boss, from the bottom, the small end of the connecting rod is inserted, and now the pin, this is going to inserted from the side. And after inserting this one circular clip, nothing but retainer, going to insert it here. So this is acting as a locking device for the escaping of the piston pin from the assembly. Okay. Now here we are designing the piston pin. So to design the piston pin, what parameter we need to take into consideration before designing? Terminology is there. D naught is the outside diameter of the piston pin. Di is the inside diameter of the piston pin, and L1 is the length of the piston pin in the bush. Okay, and PB1 B1 is the bearing pressure at the small end of the connecting rod. Its value is 25 Newton per mm square. Okay, these are the terminology. Now see here, the load is generating on the piston's head that is going to distribute it on the piston pin. How much? P is equal to pressure into pi by 4 into d square. Okay, this is the first equation. And now bearing pressure is generating at the piston pin because of the connecting rod. That is how much bearing pressure, sorry, because of bearing pressure there will be a load on the piston pin. So bearing pressure BP1 into projected area D naught into L1. This is the second equation. The first equation, load due to the burnt gases. Second equation, load due to the bearing pressure because of connecting the connecting rod. Now with this equation 1 and equation 2, we are going to calculating the L1 value. Okay. Now L2 value we require. For getting the L2 value, what we are doing here, nothing but how much bending stress is going to generated with this value we are going to get. So maximum bending stress is equal to uh, maximum bending stress is going to generated here with this equation m by z. Okay. So before this, we need a L2 value. L2 value is L1 plus L1 plus this value. We have to add. That is D minus L1 by 2. D minus L1 both sides. So that's the reason I'm making. So totally L1 plus D by 2. That is a L2. Now, whatever the values we calculated L1, L2, whether these are in the safe condition or not, we have to check. Whether these are all in the safe condition or not, we have to check. For this, what we have to do, we have to take this bending moment, bending stress equation. Now, what is the bending moment here? The bending moment here, P into D by 8. And what is the here Z section modulus? Because it is having the circular hollow section. Piston pin is a circular hollow section. So the reason pi by 32 into d naught power 4 di power 4 by d naught. Substitute here, we'll get the bending stress. Okay. So after getting the bending stress, we have to verify with the permissible values. What is the permissible values here? Its value is 84 megapascal for cast iron. Its value is 140 megapascal for heat treated alloy steel. Okay. So whatever the value calculated here, if calculated value is less than these values, means suppose the question is given for cast iron material, so our calculated value less than 84, then our design is safe. If the heat treated steel is given in the question, so it is a permissible value 140. Okay, so our calculated value is less than 140, then our design is safe. Like that, we have to write the comment. Okay, Babu. With this, the design procedure for the piston is over. Regarding today's topic, do you have any doubts? You can ask. Don't leave the class. I'm taking the attendance. Don't leave the class. I'm taking attendance.